Hello. Please like and subscribe. Thanks. You are the best.
I'm a 29-year-old man who recently got out of a marriage with my now ex-wife, Julia, who's 27. Our relationship ended just 2 months ago, but the betrayal that led to it still feels fresh. Julia had been cheating on me with my estranged brother, Ryan, also 27. I found out when she claimed to be pregnant. Initially, she tried to convince me that the child was mine, but Ryan's increasing visits made me suspicious. One night while she was asleep, I went through her phone, and what I found confirmed my worst fears. Julia had been in a secret relationship with Ryan for months. When I confronted her, she confessed. With no other option left, she admitted that the baby was Ryan's. This wasn't just the end of my marriage. It was the final straw in my already strained relationship with my family. My family and I had been distant for years. Growing up, they always treated me like I didn't belong, while Ryan was the favored child. It all started when I was 18 and decided to leave home. The last straw was a party thrown for Ryan to celebrate his minor achievements while my own accomplishments went unnoticed. When I confronted them, they said they didn't want Ryan to feel overshadowed by me, so they prioritized him. That's when I knew I had to leave and never look back. I put myself through college with loans and part-time jobs and eventually moved in with a friend. I hadn't spoken to my parents or Ryan since leaving for college. Years later, after I had established a comfortable life, Ryan reached out, saying that our parents missed me. Against my better judgment, I decided to reconnect. I thought maybe things could change. Reconnecting with my family was awkward, but I tried to make it work. I even invited them into my home, introducing them to Julia. Little did I know that was my first mistake. Ryan and Julia quickly became close, and before I knew it, they were having an affair. When Julia announced her pregnancy, I was overjoyed, thinking I was going to be a father. But as Ryan started visiting more frequently, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The way he interacted with Julia, especially when he would touch her pregnant belly, made me uneasy. 6 months into the pregnancy, I finally gave in to my suspicions and checked Julia's phone. The truth was right there. Ryan was the father of the baby, and they'd been planning to tell me after the child was born. They intended for Julia to divorce me and marry Ryan, while I'd be left paying for their lifestyle through child support. The next day I confronted Julia. She tried to deny it, but eventually she confessed. That was the end of our marriage. My parents, of course, sided with Ryan and Julia. They told me I should be happy for them and that I should support their decision to be together. I cut ties with them once again. The divorce was brutal. Julia and her lawyer painted me as a controlling and abusive husband, with my family backing up their lies. As a result, I lost a lot in the settlement. My car, a significant amount of money, but at least I got to keep the house. I focused on my career, drowning myself in work to move on from the pain. 2 weeks ago, my efforts paid off when I received a promotion at work. Better pay, better position, and even a company car. I treated myself to a nice dinner, but made the mistake of posting about it online. Soon after, my mother contacted me, asking me to visit. I ignored her at first, but she kept calling and even showed up at my office. Reluctantly, I agreed to visit them. When I visited my parents, I found out that Ryan had lost his job, and the money from the divorce settlement wasn't enough to support the household, which now included the newborn baby. My parents asked me to help them financially. I was stunned by their audacity. After everything they'd done, they now expected me to bail them out. I didn't say a word. I simply got up and left. As I was walking to my car, drenched in rain, my parents and Ryan followed, begging for help. Ryan, who had always been arrogant, was now pleading with me. I lost my temper and told them that they could beg on the streets for all I cared, then drove off. After a few days of them pestering me, I decided to stand my ground. I told my mother to stop contacting me, or I'd involve my lawyers. Ryan then showed up at my house trying to guilt me into helping them. He claimed he was just better than me, which is why our parents treated him better. I laughed in his face and told him to get a job. Ryan didn't take it well. He accused me of being jealous and trying to get revenge. I agreed with him, saying that if I wanted revenge, there was nothing he could do about it. Furious, Ryan threatened to make me pay, but I wasn't intimidated. 3 days ago, Julia called me, asking for more alimony, citing my promotion. She threatened to take me back to court, but this time I was ready. I gathered evidence, got testimonies from friends and relatives, and made sure I was prepared to fight. The court sided with me, and I was freed from paying any more alimony. After the verdict, my family showed up at my house, accusing me of abandoning them. I refused to engage and told them to leave. Ryan, in a fit of rage, tried to attack me, but my father held him back. I threatened to call the police, and they finally left. As I watched them go, I realized I was finally free from their toxic influence. I went inside, ordered my favorite takeout, and watched a movie, feeling a sense of peace for the first time in years.
Sophia, I'm unhappy. I want to get a divorce. Although Kaff was somewhat shocked, he was not completely unprepared. They had been married for almost 20 years, but Sophia had been spending a lot of time lately talking to her friend and so-called marriage expert, Miranda. Miranda's experience was based on the fact that she had been through 3 divorces. Kaff, can you hear me? I want to get a divorce. Yes, Sophia, I heard, but this is such a serious matter that I don't want to answer hastily. I think I was as loving and devoted a husband as possible. I think I was a good father. You didn't mention any problems in our sex life, so I don't know anything about what happened. But after hearing from you, my answer is this. I can't stand the idea that marriage to me will deprive you of the chance to be happy. Although it breaks my heart, I will support you in your divorce. But tell me, is the reason for divorce something that happened recently, or has it been building up for some time? Sophia replied, yes, gradually. I need a little space, a little time to explore other opportunities, meet other people. It is my understanding that the court requires that we be legally separated within 90 days of signing the documents. Eventually, I may change my mind and want to stay married. We may not have to get a divorce, Kaff mused. That's close to what I've heard other people say about their divorces. During the 90-day period of separation, we both date other people, and it is not considered cheating. But in the end, we both have to agree to stop the divorce. However, either of us can proceed with the divorce without the consent of the other party. Kaff realized that Sophia did not fully understand that he would have the same freedom as she did. I thought that if I filed the documents first, it would depend on me whether to continue the marriage or go for divorce. Sophia hesitated. Kaff objected. I don't think that's right. But just in case, I'll also aptly so, that we're on the same page. Isn't that fair? I guess, Sophia stammered. Are you saying that you want to get a divorce? Obviously, I was under the wrong impression that I was a suitable husband, father, and lover. No, I don't want a divorce, but I won't stand in the way of your future. Kaff, I never said that you were inadequate. You were a wonderful husband, father, and lover. I just want to experience something new and different, spend some time with other people. It might make me feel better. I just need some time. Being legally separated will give me this freedom. Kaff, the fact that you need more than I can give you defines my inadequacy. He was silent for a while, then continued. Have you already gotten a lawyer and completed the paperwork? She ignored his response regarding feelings of inadequacy. No, I don't have documents yet. I plan to use Junior Lewis. He handled Miranda's divorces. So, Sophia confirmed the source of this idea of seeking something more for herself from her marriage. Well, I'll probably ask my cousin Sally to handle my part of the divorce. Sally, from hell. Kaff, I know you don't like Sally, but she's a really good person. Her reputation stems from her job. She truly fights for her clients, whether they are men or women. Ironically, after the last family barbecue, probably because she had had too much to drink, Sally volunteered that if I ever needed a divorce lawyer, she would handle it for free. Wow, Kaff continued. We have something to talk about. I propose that you spend the next 2 weeks preparing for your divorce. This way, we can begin our separation on the 1st of the month. This is fine. Maybe I don't understand why we have to do anything before the separation is over, Kaff explained. Well, I guess the purpose of the separation is to see what it's like to be divorced, so we can decide if we really want a divorce. This means that the period of separation should be practiced, so to speak, for what life will be like after the divorce, or we won't figure anything out until the divorce. It can get quite messy. Does this make sense to you? Maybe. I really didn't think about it. Sophia's resolve was weakening. I'll tell you what. Why don't we go into the kitchen, grab a notepad, and start planning out everything we need to do? I'll put on the coffee with these words. Kath got out of bed and headed to the kitchen, leaving Sophia in thought. By the time Sophia got to the kitchen, the coffee was already boiling and Kath was scribbling on a notepad. Okay, Kath continued. There is so much to think about that it is difficult to decide where to start. I think we need to talk about children first. What are you talking about? Well, we'll have to tell them what's going on, and we'll both have to say the same thing and try to make sure they don't think our divorce is their fault. Sophia became very worried. Both girls were very emotional and might not take the bad news well. I don't understand why we need to tell them so much. Can't we just wait 90 days, and maybe we won't have to tell them anything at all? But dear, how will you explain to them when they ask, why doesn't Dad live here anymore? But why don't you live here? We will still be their mother and father. I figured that you would continue to live here during the separation, and that we could go out occasionally without disrupting the children's lives. I don't think this will work. Sophia, first, it would mean that we would have to coordinate our dates. One of us might get angry if one wants to go on a date one night and the other says it's inconvenient. We might think that the other is trying to keep us from dating. Most importantly, how are you going to experience what it would be like after the divorce if you behave the same way as you do now? Additionally, the children may guess or hear from others that we have been seen hanging out with other people. We must not only tell the girls, but also all our relatives and friends, otherwise they might think that we are cheating on each other. The worst thing is, I'm afraid that no matter how we explain this to the children, they will probably think that it is their fault. It's unfortunate, but from what I understand from child psychology, it's impossible to stop children of divorce from feeling like it's partly their fault. We just have to make sure we say the same thing and really emphasize our love for them. They are good kids and they will probably adjust eventually, although it may require some professional therapy. Heck, they might even enjoy having extra grandparents from your new boyfriend and my new girlfriend, more gifts for birthdays and holidays. Of course, we will have to coordinate very closely where and when we hold birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving. We can barely do that now with only one set of grandparents. Besides, if I stay in the house, you'll have to meet your man at his place or at a fancy hotel. It would be wrong for you or me to bring a lover home while the other is at home with the children. Also, we have to figure out what having two families means for our finances. Sophia sat there in shock. She didn't know what to say. Kath continued. I'll try to rent an apartment closer to work. This way, the girls will have a bed when they stay over on the nights I have visits. The standard for visitation in most divorces is that the spouse outside the home can see the children every weekend and every other major holiday, unless the spouse at home agrees to more. Sophia, I expected you to date others a lot more often. There's homework, sports, drama, and other events that they are used to, both you and them, enjoying their time together so much. Darling, I will try to be as much a part of their lives as possible. However, you and your boyfriend should be willing to take on some of what I do. It's just reality. Weeknights for visits will be difficult because they would rather be home since they have school the next day. If I find someone else, she might have kids too, and I might have to help them with homework and extracurricular activities. You may have to help your new husband with the children. Then there's the problem of storing clothes and toiletries in two places, school transportation since I may not live on a bus route for their school, and just a disruption to routine. It won't be easy for any of us. Finances, obviously. This will mean that we will have less money to live on because we will add the cost of renting my apartment and utilities to our current expenses. You will have to get used to paying and taking care of everything that we now share together. And I myself do for the family. Joint assets are usually divided 50-50. This means we will have to cancel all joint checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, and then file for child support. There is so much to do until the first day. This is not going as Miranda promised. Sophia thought she said her husband would give in at the mention of divorce and offer to continue doing everything he did for the family, but also allow her to date others on the side. I'm quickly losing control of the situation, Kath. I'm shocked I need to get some sleep. We'll talk again tomorrow. I go back to bed. You are walking. She was hoping he would come and she would try to use sex to get him to give in without all this taking responsibility and sharing the money. Sorry, honey, but I need to write down something else before I go to bed. You know how my brain works. The more we do before the first day, the better we will feel. Good night, darling. Sophia hardly slept. She needed to talk to Miranda and tell her about Kaff's unexpected reaction. Miranda would know what to do next. This confidence allowed her to finally fall asleep. She woke up to start her day and immediately noticed that Kaff was not in bed with her. My God, this idiot stayed up all night working on the divorce list, she thought. But when she entered the kitchen, Kaff was not there, just a notepad on the kitchen table. Sophia looked into the guest bedroom and found her husband fast asleep. She returned and started eating breakfast while everything was getting ready. She looked at the notepad. Under the heading Items to Change Liability were mortgage, homeowner's insurance, gas, water, electric, cable, cell phone, garbage, internet security, car payment, car insurance, health insurance, dental insurance, Amazon Prime, LifeLock membership, Life Flight, Metac, and the list went on. This was in addition to all the banking changes they were talking about last night. On the next page was a projection of his new expenses associated with his stay in the apartment, and a pro-ed budget showing how much child support she would need to maintain her and the girl's current lifestyle. This meant they were short several hundred a month. He also compiled a list of ways to cut costs. Kaff would have to give up his favorite trips to Waffle House and Starbucks. He would be in a lot of pain. She grinned, then added that was her gym membership, the women's group she was in, and eating out more than once a week. He even listed some of the children's expenses, as some extracurricular activities included fees, uniforms, and other necessary materials to pay for. The impact on the children was not part of the calculation of her divorce scheme. On another page, he had a list of things Sophia had to do, which included filling up the car with gas, regular car maintenance, calling a mechanic, calling a plumber, calling a heating and air conditioning repair service, mowing the lawn, washing cars, shopping for groceries, and etc. She had to put down the notepad. Damn it! Why doesn't Kaff act like he should and give me what I want, she thought. I need to call Miranda before Kaff gets up, Sophia whispered to herself. Hello, Miranda, this is Sophia. We have to speak quietly because Kaff is sleeping next to us. How did it go last night? Miranda's voice expressed excitement and expectation of a positive response from Sophia. Instead of asking what he could do to make things better, so I wouldn't divorce him, he agreed to the divorce, and then started making a list of all the things he was doing now that I would have to do if we get divorced. Kaff plans to rent an apartment and take care of the girls only every weekend. He says that we need to actually separate and act as if we are actually divorced so that we can make a more informed decision about whether or not to divorce after 90 days. He doesn't act like divorce. It really scares him. What should I do? Gift, gift, gift. Stupid girl. He's just trying to deceive you. He's bluffing. There's no way he'll sign any real papers. It's a shame that he has to list all the little things he does to make you think you need him more than he needs you. Bottom line, you control the kids and the area between your legs. Only these two things will keep him in line. This is all talk on his part, Miranda advised. Don't worry, soon you and Robert will be doing Mumba in bed and you will still have a husband and a home. I hope you're right, and Robert is worth it. Well, Kaff hasn't actually done anything yet. I'll stay, Sophia asked nervously as her husband staggered over to the coffee pot. Do you want some coffee, Kaff? Drinking coffee late last night wasn't a good idea. I hardly slept, Kaff replied, rubbing his eyes. Why didn't you come to bed? Well, I walked, but I didn't trust myself, Kaff admitted with a sigh. Honey, I saw you sleeping, and I got very excited. You are still the most beautiful woman I know. I'm afraid I would suggest that if you allowed me to have sex, it would only be pity sex to ease my pain over the divorce proposal. I wasn't sure I wouldn't give up. Honey, we're still married. I am yours and only yours, at least until the separation occurs. Can't we act like husband and wife until then? I'm afraid not, Sophia responded firmly. I am more confident than ever that separation activities must begin as soon as possible, although the official breakup won't start until the 1st of the month. It actually started the second you said you're unhappy. It will be hard for me, but I really want to see you happy, even if I no longer play an important role in your life. Kath, you always seem to forget it's really just a separation, and we don't need to get a divorce. Relax, give me a little time to find myself, and I'm sure we'll stay married, and it will be even better than before. I wish I could believe it, Kath sighed. I decided to take the day off. Billy can supervise the maintenance crews during the day, so I can set some issues of division into motion. This doesn't take effect until the 1st of the month, so we'll have 90 full days where we can actually experience what it would be like if we got divorced. By the way, I'll get us both more cash than usual. You need to use cash until we can get our own credit and debit cards. Luckily, we both have separate checking accounts in addition to the large joint account. I will transfer half the amount from the joint account to each of our separate accounts. We must do this now so that we can receive new cards and checks by the 1st of the month. Tonight, I'll tell you what I did and what you need to do to gain control of your portion of the assets. Oh, you better hurry up so you don't be late for work. I will prepare the children's breakfast and take them to school. Sophia was not very good at her job as an office manager for a regional insurance office. Robert, as usual, came in to flirt. Tall, with dark, wavy hair and a smile that made women unbutton their blouses in the hope that he would stop and talk to them. After telling Sophia how beautiful she was and how underestimated she must be, he asked when they could go listen to beautiful music again. Sophia began to worry and told Robert that they would soon be able to be together in a more comfortable environment. However, today she would call him later, near the elevator. When he left, her worries about being separated from Kath were replaced by memories of kissing and caressing Robert during the all-too-short elevator rides they had taken in the last few months since he had come to work. When Sophia returned home from work, she saw evidence that Kath had been there during the day. She felt better prepared emotionally to deal with all the financial nonsense he was talking about. It was simple. I have 90 days to fool around. We stay married, and then I try to figure out how Robert and I can have sex after that without getting caught. She sat down at the kitchen table and looked at her notebook again. Kath had added a few more items to the list. Then she noticed a new list. It was called Possible Women for Today. There were 2 columns. Women who have already expressed interest, and women Kath would like to know if they are interested. The columns weren't long, but the names in the first column shocked her. One of them was her sister, Erica. "This witch," Sophia called her immediately. "Hello, Dar." "Sophia," Erica answered. "How are you? How dare you try to steal my husband?" "Hey, slow down, girl. What are you talking about?" "Kath made a list of women who told him they wanted to date him, and your name is on it. I don't know about the list, but I once told him, after I'd had too much to drink, that if he ever wises up and leaves your stupid, ungrateful ass, I want to replace you. Wait, what's going on? That he's showing you a list of women who want him. Are you saying there's trouble in paradise? Did you catch him, or did he catch you having sex with someone else?" "That's not the point. I just told him that I needed some space, some time for myself to explore new relationships." "Here," Erica interrupted her. "Yeah, you're looking for it on the side. Who is he, or are there several of them?" "No, I haven't been close to anyone yet. Kath and I will just go through the 90-day separation, and then decide if we want to stay married or not." "It's okay. Obviously you have someone in mind, but I don't care. So you're telling me that someday soon you two will be legally separated, and if anyone wants to have sex with Kath, there's nothing you can do about it. Let me know the date, and I guarantee that a second after midnight, I will be begging for a date and making it absolutely clear that my body is his to use the way he wants and that I am not my sister. I will be absolutely faithful to him until the end of her life. You better stay away from him, or what? You can't do anything if you have a legal separation. And the point is that you are the one asking for it all these years. You've been bragging about what a good provider he is, what a good husband and father he is. Most of all, you talked about what a wonderful lover he is, and you want to throw it away. How can you be such a fool? Have you suddenly become blonde? Like I said, let me know as soon as it's free. This is the only time in our lives when I will be glad to receive help from an older sister. Bye. After the call, Sophia tried to calm down after the call, but it didn't help that she looked at the lists of women again. She saw Jenny, Kaff's secretary, a short single mother, absolutely gorgeous, but almost 20 years younger than Kaff. However, there she was, first on the list, which meant that she had expressed interest in dating her husband, probably desperate for a sugar daddy to take care of her and the baby. There were 2 women on the list, one of whom was married. That's probably what the M next to her name meant. The other 2 names were other women who worked where Kaff did. She recognized several more names of women on the list. They were also from their area. Kaff did a lot of free work for neighbors. Although he had a degree in psychology, he worked as a laborer in college. He liked this work, and he developed his business so much that now he had 3 teams working under him. I think he was looking at the women's plumbing and also the plumbing in their homes. The 3 women on the list had no names. Only the label waitress at Waffle House, barista at Starbucks, and clerk at Walmart. I wonder how many other women find him as attractive as Erica. I really didn't think he would date while we were apart. Maybe he already has someone in mind. Kaff walked into the house and saw his wife looking through a notebook. He was pretty sure what the next topic of conversation would be. "Well, Kaff, it looks like you didn't waste any time looking for a replacement for me." "My dear sister, how could you? I was just trying to catch up with you in choosing a boyfriend." "What do you mean?" "I have no boyfriend. I just want to explore some new relationships." "What about Robert Turner? How do you know? That Robert Turner, what are you going to do about it today? I was at Walmart and ran into Sylvia, your boss's secretary, during lunch break. She's an old gossip. Don't believe anything, she says after a significant pause. Sophia couldn't help but feel cornered by Kaff's accurate guess. "Robert Turner, how do you know about Robert Turner? What are you going to do about it?"